Hello and welcome to our video. So this is going to be the first video as of today. Let's see, what is today? September 20th, 2017. And I'm making this video today while we've had a lot of these videos here for a year, 2 years, maybe even longer. This video is going to be the first video in the lineup because I realized that we're lacking this very important concept. So this video is basic training on how to find good product opportunities on Amazon. So you want to go sell on Amazon. You want to start building your own brand on Amazon. You want to build a physical products business. Where do you start? Little plug here for a course that we did. We did the Amazing Selling Machine course, and I definitely recommend that you do that. Or Brand Builder Bootcamp, which is another really good one. You can Google those, or actually give us a little bit of credit since we don't charge anything for our content, this is all free. We'll never charge for this. Shoot me an email on our contact page, and if you're interested in doing one of those courses. But for now, this content here is basically all of our training on this website is what we have found works best for us. So that being said, you take this at your own risk. Obviously, be smart about the way that you build a business. This is what works for us. We're not gurus. You're not paying us for this. So I'm not guaranteeing or promising any results. Okay? And please don't bombard me with a ton of questions about how do I do this? How do I do that? We give back to our community after 3 years right now, 3.5 years of learning how to do this business and building our business. We've decided to give back to the community by giving free content like this on our website, Facebook videos, stuff like that. But right now we're not doing a lot of personal coaching just because we don't have a lot of time. I hope you understand that. So I'm going to do the best I can. Let's jump right into it. So first of all, you're going to need some tools that I recommend if you want to do this correctly. Now, first of all, before I get into the tools, let me show you the traditional way of looking for product opportunities on Amazon. Let's orient you to Amazon real quick. I'm sure you've looked at Amazon before. This is not going to be a total overview of how Amazon works. But here you've got every department under the sun, moon, and stars that Amazon has in their catalog right now. And there are a lot of departments. There are literally hundreds of thousands of SKUs and product opportunities within the Amazon catalog. So how we used to do it is first we would randomly pick, we'd also could look here, but we would randomly pick a top level category. That means one of these categories. And that means not a subcategory, right? So let's say, and one that's not restricted. Talk about that a little bit more later. But there are some of these categories that are restricted. Automotive is an example. You cannot sell automotive parts unless you have special permission, so I would not recommend starting there. Beauty and personal care, similar. Clothing, that one's actually restricted. You need to have special permission. But cell phone accessories, you can. There's a lot of different things. Let's go down to a common one here. Let's go to, let's see, would be a fun one. I kind of feel like going outside today. How about sports and outdoors? That sounds fun. It's just getting to the end of summertime here. So we would pick a subcategory. And it used to be where you could just type in these little brackets and click enter, and it would pull up a list of products. Now that doesn't work anymore, literally as of a week ago. I've found that if you type in a dash or a hyphen followed by a little bit of gobbledygook, numbers and letters, and then click enter, sometimes that works. There it is. This is called a search string, and what this does is this pulls up a list of products within that category in no particular order. I'm not going to get into all this because I'm going to give you a shortcut tool that I use. I don't recommend doing it this way, but if you were going to do it this way, if you're totally broke and you don't want to spend money on any tools, you could go down here and you could filter this from like $25 to $50, so you're not looking at cheap stuff that's not going to make any money. You could filter it in a bunch of different other ways, and you're going to scroll through here, and I actually have a little extension called what is this thing called? DS Amazon, which tells you the BSR ranking and stuff. BSR stands for best seller ranking. And then you'd go through and you'd start finding opportunities here. I'm rushing through this because I really don't recommend doing that. You can I'm way too lazy to go through all that. That just takes so much work. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to recommend an app called Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout is a really great tool, and I don't even know if it will exist by the time you watch this video. And there are competitors to Jungle Scout out there, such as Helium 10 is another one. I've been using Jungle Scout, so I'm just going to talk about Jungle Scout because, again, this video is based on what I actually do. So Jungle Scout has an app. Oh, sorry, this is I think this is like Jungle Scout's a website, and you can pay up for a membership. So we paid for their membership. I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks a month. You can pay for it for a month or two and turn it off once you've done your product research. We also bought the Chrome extension, which if you click over here, I believe it's like 100 bucks, maybe, yeah, 100 bucks. And we just went ahead and downloaded that, and that gives you this little feature here. We're going to use both of those. So your total upfront investment on Jungle Scout, if you want to do it this way, is about 100 and let's say 150 bucks. Okay, and then 29 to 30 bucks a month if you want to keep doing this every month. If you don't want to do it that way, you can go do the search string and scroll through and copy and paste into a spreadsheet and do all that kind of stuff. But we're going to do it this way. So first what we're going to do is we're going to choose a top level category, and I don't recommend selecting all. I recommend going through and checking a couple of categories that you're really interested in. To keep it simple, I'm going to turn off some of these pre-selected ones, and we're just going to focus on one category. Let's do sports and outdoors, since we're feeling like doing sports and outdoors. Now this is all saved from my last search, but these are kind of the search criteria that I recommend that you search for. I'm going to actually change this to $25 to $70. That seems to be the price range where if you go under $25, generally what happens is nowadays in 2017, because Amazon fees have been going up, and a lot of the Chinese suppliers are being bombarded with a lot of us Americans and other people all over the world who want to private label. They've been raising their prices. So if you try to sell something for under $25, minimum 20, but I'm going to go 25 to 70. If you sell for less than 20, you're going to wind up selling stuff where there's just not enough profit margin, and you're not going to have enough money left over after your cost of goods sold, your shipping, your Amazon fees, and all that stuff. You're not going to have enough profit left over to pay for advertising, so you wind up not making a lot of money. How do I know that? Well, we built our business on selling kitchen products between the $10 to $15 up to $20 price range, and that worked for a while. It's still working on a few products, but it is really tight profit margins right now. So we're getting into the more expensive stuff. So that's the price range I recommend. I wouldn't worry so much about net right now. You can go and filter these more if you want. This is just kind of my top level basic search. Basic rank on pretty much any of these competitive categories would be a maximum, which means the smallest number, of 350 BSR, bestseller rank, to a minimum, I guess we could switch that around, a minimum of 350 to a maximum of 7,500. In this case, minimum is meaning the highest rank. So number one is the bestseller in that entire category, okay? So this means in sports and outdoors, we're going to find products that rank from 350 to 7,500 as a ranking. And what that pretty much tells us is we want something that's not too competitive. If it's lower than 350, meaning a higher rank, closer to 1, then there's going to be competitors that are selling such a high volume and they're so aggressive and they're making a lot of money. You as a new seller are going to have a hard time. So that's kind of my good rule of thumb there. Estimated revenue, I like to put a minimum of $5,000. If that, then Jungle Scout will actually filter out any products that are not selling a minimum $5,000 a month. Guys, this thing is so awesome. This tool that I'm showing you right now, back when I used to do this, we didn't have any of this stuff. We would just have to, hey, Champion men's socks, I could sell socks. That sounds like a good idea. Let me try to source it. And there was no way to really know what these products were doing and what the competition was doing. So things have come a long way in the last few years. This is really, really cool. So a minimum of $5,000. I'm not going to put a max. You know, I mean, if the guy, whatever. I'll talk about that later. Reviews, I want a maximum of 1,000, so I want 0 to 1,000 reviews. What that means is if you find a product that has 4,000 reviews, I can't compete with that as a new seller. If there's 2 or 3 guys selling these lanterns that have 2, 3, 4,000 reviews and a solid 5-star rating, there is no way I'm going to compete with that. It takes years to build up 4,000 reviews. So I want products that have less than 1,000 reviews, and I can compete with those guys. Rating, I'm not going to worry about that, but between you and me, I wouldn't pick anything that has less than a 4.5 star. So you could put that on there if you want to. I don't particularly want to worry about that. Weight, this is really good. I'm not going to search for things that are more than 3 pounds. And that's because what I have found that in my price range, if you try to sell something more than 3 pounds, and there's exceptions to every rule, but what happens is you wind up paying a lot in shipping and in storage. Okay, so under 3 pounds is a good rule of thumb. All right. And those are pretty much the main criteria. There's one more over here, which is turn oversize off. I think that's preset to on. What that means is, I think oversize is like 18 inches by 14 by 8. And Amazon will charge you more for long-term storage and just regular storage. And of course, you have to pay more for shipping if you're selling products that are larger than that. But specifically, Amazon has a different fee table, a fee rate, if you will, for products that are what they call oversized. So we only want standard size products. So once we get all of our filters in place and we choose a category, we're just going to search. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, I think I set this at 50. I think default is 25. So now we've got a bunch of stuff to look at. So now let's talk about the other tool that you're going to need. And actually, I'm going to give this tool to you for free. This is a spreadsheet that I built. It's called the Opportunity Search Sample, and I will have this as a downloadable document for you at the bottom of this lesson. So you can just go ahead and download it. So what I've done here is I've put sort of our basic criteria, do's and don'ts, up here at the top. This is a very, very fancy spreadsheet. As you can tell, I'm really good at spreadsheets. Just kidding, I kind of suck. But so I've just typed in, these are the things I want to look at as kind of a cheat sheet for my reminders. I want to keep it in this document. So 1 to 7, bestseller ranking shows me that there's demand. We already talked about that. The primary keyword, we're going to talk about what that means. Number of reviews, the reviews of the competition, a price of 19 to 70, although I just told you I'm going to change that actually right here, 25 to 70. I just updated that. Okay. Private label potential means it's not branded. So what that basically means, let's just go back so you don't have any misunderstood words as you're going through this. If I were searching a product, here's an example, like a tactical flashlight, and this product were, what's the name of this company? Uline, however you pronounce that. So that's not a very good example, but I'll give you a better example of a brand. Here we go, right? Okay, so Essential Water. I'm not going to go try to compete with these guys. That's a big company. Callaway, that's a pretty big company. I'm not going to try to compete with them. A brand-driven product is a product that is sold by big brands that they have so much of the marketplace and they have so much credibility because of their brand name that even if they don't have a lot of reviews, they're still selling the lion's share of the market because everybody knows their name, right? Like I would not try to sell Duracell batteries. So that's an example of a brand-driven product. So a private label potential, not branded. I should say not brand-driven. I think that's a little bit better wording here. Change that. Brand-driven. Okay. Profit margin, minimum profit, premium price, minimum profit of 25%. We'll talk about that later. We already talked about the search, the criteria of size and weight, and less than 1,000 reviews. Okay, top level categories only. So what that means is, I'll give you an example. Since you're not searching on Amazon, that's really easy. But if you do decide to search on Amazon and not pay money to do the Jungle Scout, you'll have to be careful. These are all top level categories, so you don't have to worry. But if you're searching on Amazon and you were searching for like golf related stuff, you wouldn't want to, I'll give you an example. Golf Okay, this is golf equipment. That is not a top level category. The top level category is sports and outdoors. But right now we could go, hey, this product is ranking really good in golf equipment. It's, you know, all this. But the problem is that's not a top level category. So we want to search by top level category, which is like sports and outdoors. These are all top level categories. And then all of these down here are subcategories. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I know I'm talking fast because I have to, because there's a lot of stuff we're covering in this video, and I'm not going to teach an entire ASM course or Brand Builder Bootcamp course in 20 minutes. All right. And what I did down here, okay, it's not a gated category, which we already talked about, automotive, health and beauty, stuff like that, unless you're already approved. If you come into this marketplace and you have some kind of pre-approval, you've worked in the industry and you have like special knowledge in automotive or something like that, then by all means, petition Amazon, get approval for that category and start selling in it. But for most of us who don't bring a pre-approval to the table, just avoid those gated categories. And then I left some space here where you can type in potential categories that you are interested in. Okay, and that's going back to Jungle Scout. That's what you would click here. All right, and then just a little cheat sheet of things to avoid. Things that are easily breakable, things that have electrical plugins. That means like it actually plugs into the wall. It's just too much drama. I try to stay away from highly electronic stuff that has tons of moving parts that can break, because that just means more drama, more customer service, more expensive repairs or replacements. Definitely nothing with ion batteries, because you need special government regulations and blah, blah, blah. Definitely nothing that's patented, so you'll want to do a patent search on anything before you try to sell it. And there's a video down below in this lesson section called How to Do a Patent Search or something like that I filmed. And you want to avoid things that have a ton of variations. So an example of a ton of variations would be, let's go back and give an example. Actually, let's go back here. See how it says $9.99 to $29.99? That means that there's a lot of variations. If we click on that and we can see, holy cow, they've got like 30 different variations. There's no way I can compete. You're going to start by selling one color of one product. You can't compete with this guy. I'm not saying you can't, but it would be very, very difficult. Okay, so that's what we mean when we say no variations. So let's jump right into it, and I'll show you how to use this product opportunity spreadsheet and really go quickly through this. All right, so we're going to start with Jungle Scout. We're not going to use Amazon right now. We've already gotten our search down. So what we're going to do is, as we find something that meets our criteria, the first thing we want to look for here is like the number of reviews. Now, we've already pre-selected this as a maximum of 1,000, so I know that's not going to be a problem. Our rank, this is what we really want to keep our eye on. Things that have a rank between 350 and 7,000 or 7,500. So that these all should fall within that range. So what I'm going to do is, if I find something that looks interesting to me, meets that criteria, I'm just going to go ahead and copy the link address, and I'm going to tab over here, and I'm going to put the URL right here, pop it right in. And then product keyword is basically, you can kind of get an idea. Hand grips, gymnastic grips, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's call them hand grips. You can always test that by setting this back on all departments and just typing in something like hand grips. And you can see that is a real keyword that people actually search for. So that's kind of what I'll use in my opportunity search. So I'll just put hand grips. Okay. Category, I'm going to put S and O for sports and outdoors. And my price, I believe it was $39.99. Let's double check that. $39.98, close enough. And then the BSR, so we've got 1, 2, 3. That means we're going to compare 3 different ones. But for right now, we're just doing number 1. Okay, and that's what we're getting from our Jungle Scout app. So BSR number 1 is $15.99. So I'm going to just type that in. Okay. Tab over to reviews number 1. 720. Okay, and that's it. And then we're going to go look at these more later. Okay, so let's go down the list. Now, all of these are kind of similar. Now, as I go through this, I'm noticing, oh my goodness, this company brand, Bear Complex, they have a lot of products. So maybe I don't want to compete with those guys. So you probably should scroll a little bit further. But yeah, I'm just using that as an example. That's probably not the best example, but you get the idea. This is kind of a branded product more than likely, but we'll look at it more later. I'll show you how to do that later. Let's go on to the next one. Knee sleeves. Sure, why not? That sounds good. It meets a lot of our criteria. Copy the link address. Tab on over. Knee sleeves. I'm going to paste the link in there. This is also in Sports and Outdoors. And the price, let's see, $44.98, right in our price range. BSR on this product is $18.61 and 630 reviews, $18.61 and 630, and that's all we're going to do for that. Okay, and then we'll go down and we'll continue doing that. I would definitely skip the apparel type stuff, hats, shorts, anything that's apparel. I haven't figured out a way to filter out apparel, but if you can figure out a way to filter out apparel in this opportunity search, please do so. I think, what is this? Inner tubes, yeah. Whatever, you get the idea. So you're going to go through and you're going to copy all of your product opportunity searches. Now, this is not, let me just say, this is not a 10-15 minute thing. You want to spend at least an hour a day if you're on a part-time schedule. I would spend several to many hours really building a list. So what you want to do here is you're going to do what we just did, and you're going to go through and you're going to build a list of at least 20 product opportunities. I would probably go up to 50. I think that's what I got to on my current product opportunity search for the new brand that I'm doing. I got about 50 product opportunities in there just by doing exactly what we did before I go to step 2. All right? So don't rush through this. Take your time. Now that you've got 50, and we're just going to do 2 for this video, but now that we've got 50 or so, you can get 100 if you want. You're not going to wind up with 100 at the end, because now that we've got 50 potential product ideas, now we have to go check the competition to see if this is a viable product. Okay, and I'll show you what the next step is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy that link, and we're going to go ahead and just go directly to Amazon, and we're going to paste that link right here, go right to this product. Okay, cool. So now the first thing I see is this thing's got a bunch of variations. Okay, so I already know that I don't want to sell this product. So between you and me for this video, I would just go ahead and delete this. Okay, delete. But just for the sake of training, I'm going to go through it a little bit further. But we already know that this does not match our criteria. It's got too many variations. But what I want to do is, the next thing I want to do is find the main keyword, and we already decided it's hand grips. And you can usually do that just by looking at their title. This is why it's important to choose a category that you have some genuine interest in, that you're kind of familiar with maybe. Like if you're a mom and you like doing mommy stuff, maybe do a category and that's what you're interested in. You might have a little bit more understanding of like the baby category than I would. I don't have any kids. So now what you want to do is take that main keyword, and you want to always make sure this is set on all departments. Okay, that's very, very important. I'm going to say that again. Make sure the search is set on all departments, because you want to search for competing products that have that keyword in all categories, because they might not all be in sports and outdoors. So I put hand grips and I click enter in all departments. Now, as you can see, I'm going to skip the sponsored ads and we're going to jump down here. Okay, I can see that hand grips is not really the right keyword. I guess it could be. That's fine. Let's just see what other keywords are in there. Gymnastic grips. Let's try gymnastic grips. because that might be a little bit more. Gymnastic grips. All categories, remember that. Check that out. Okay, yeah, that might be a little bit better. Okay, that's fine. So now what we want to do is the traditional way, if you're not using Jungle Scout, would be to kind of just scroll through and look at competitors. So, you know, kind of compare, okay, this is the one that we already have on our list, but then we'd find another one that's a similar style. Obviously, that's the same one, same picture. We'd find another one on the list that's a similar style. Well, here's another one that's a similar style, but hey, it's kind of the same company, so I don't really want to compare that. What we're trying to do is compare competition and get an idea of if this is a brand-driven product. Here's one. Now this one's a sponsored ad, but we'll just use it as an example. So what I would do is I would copy this link and I would go put this into my URL number 2. Let me click out of there for a second. So URL number 2. Now you'll notice when you do that here, it's going to be a much longer link because, and my computer is so slow, I'm sorry. The reason this is a really long link is because it has all of our search criteria. So you can leave it like that if you want. I'm a bit weird, and what I do is I cut everything out from after the .com part. I go all the way up to the I skip all of this stuff. And I usually go down to the ASIN, if I can find it. Where did it go? I can't even find it. Don't worry about it. Just leave it there. I was just trying to make it simpler for you. But that's fine. We'll do that later. So we got the BSR. Sorry, we got the URL, right? It's still in there? Yes. Cool. And also, by the way, mine takes up all this space just because I set this to wrap text, but you know, if I change that, make it a lot easier to look at. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Let me unformat this. Again, I apologize for my slow Excel. It's time for me to get a new computer, folks. This guy is getting old and slow. All right, let's go to alignment. Let's take wrap text off just to make it simple. Okay, did that work? Yes. There we go. All right. And I don't know why it's still showing, but whatever. So BSR number 2. So we're just going to tab back and look at the BSR. Now I've got it here on my seller app, or sorry, my DS Amazon app, but normally to get the BSR you're going to actually have to click on that listing. So what I would do is I would open this in a new tab. Let's get rid of that. And to find the BSR on most products, if you're not using this little Chrome extension, is you have to scroll down to where it says more information. Maybe I passed it. Where did it go? Pardon me, folks. Maybe it's below. Sorry, I didn't scroll down far enough. Product details, and it'll give you the BSR 20068 in sports and outdoors. Now I'm using the DS Amazon search, which pulls up this little information here. So it says right there. But normally this would be blank, right? I'm paying, I think DS Amazon was like $15. But anyway, so 2068 and 706 reviews, okay? So I'm going to put under BSR number 2, 2068, and under reviews number 2, it was 706. 706. Now, we already know that this product we don't want to sell because it's a brand-driven product. We saw, again, going back here, that this one particular brand has a lot of competition and a lot of, let me back up a step. Ooh, that's really pissing me off. Okay, this brand, Bear Complex, they're kind of dominating, but you might not know that until you really compare it. So you're going to find one or two more of these, and you're just going to plug in that information. I'm not going to waste your time on the video, but you would do the same thing for a third product. So you're going to compare all of them. Okay. Now, if you have Jungle Scout, what I would do, sorry for wasting your time on the not Jungle Scout way, is you're going to use the Chrome extension. You're just going to click this button up here, and this is going to run a report, and it's going to analyze all of the different listings, number 1 through 26, I believe. No, just 1 through 15. Okay, so it depends on the product page. This is basically everything on page 1, and I like to sort it by highest revenue going down. So, and then what I like to do is I like to look at the brand names first. This is the first thing I look at. If I see one brand name a bunch of times, then I'm going to be a little bit wary of this product. Here, there's only 2. Okay, so we're basically going to say this is the same product, more or less, right? I'm not going to compare it to itself. What I'll do is I'll hover over this and see if it's a similar product. It's not really a similar product. It has a much cheaper selling price, and it doesn't look anything like the product that we found, right? And I'm just going to scroll down and find another one that's a similar style. And as you can see, there's not very many other styles, so this is not a great product to compare. You know, these are really, these ones are a bit more expensive. We can take this one. Again, this one doesn't look like a glove, but it's a comparable thing. It's a grip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this link, excuse me, and I'm going to go into my spreadsheet, and I'll use this as an example for URL number 3, okay? And then BSR3, if I were doing this all on Jungle Scout, I would just do this 2 times right here with the ones that are comparable. So this one sells for a little bit more. However, this one's BSR is 33,000, which is way outside our price, which is way outside our 7,500 mark. And reviews, they only have 91, so that's fine. So this probably isn't a great example of a good product, because if you look at who's really making money here, it's pretty much this guy. This one guy, this Bear Complex, they've got 2 listings that are doing 40,000 and 21,000, and then everyone else, there's a few doing 10,000 and 5,000, and it's not horrible, but there's not a ton of money, and a lot of these guys are selling for less than $25. So that's up to you, but that's how you go through the comparison. Let's do one more, okay? And just for fun, we'll do one more to give you kind of a search. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and we're going to go up here and just pop it in. So we're going to start by looking at the listing. This is, wow, interestingly enough, it's the same company. Okay. If you're the owner of Bear Complex, good job. Now, we already know that we don't want to do this one because it has so many variations. So let's just delete that, actually. I changed my mind. I want to give you a good example, not a bad example. I'm deleting that one. So in that case, we're going to go back to Jungle Scout. Let's find a better product. Let's see. What is this? 2-pack tube and tires? Sure, why not? Actually, no, let's do something a little different. Let's do this camping cookware stove, blah, blah. Let's copy this. We'll put that in our opportunity search. Okay. And when my computer decides to not be slow, let's go look at the main keyword for this product. Camping cookware stove. I would imagine this is something like camping cookware. We'll just put camping cookware set. It's probably something like that. Right? This is also in sports and outdoors. And our price on this is $27. I'll just round it up to make it simple. The BSR on this one is $14.79. And the reviews on this one is 460. Okay, cool. So let's just assume that we had our 50 and we're going down one at a time, doing this with each one. Build your list of 50 before you go and you compare with competition. Otherwise, what's going to happen, I'm telling you right now, is if you don't have a big list, you start looking deeper into these product opportunities, you're going to get rid of a lot of these. And don't feel bad. You might wind up with only 5 out of 50 that are really good hot opportunities, but guess what? You've got 5 kick-ass opportunities at the end of the day after you've spent a few hours doing this. That is well worth your time. If you if you copy one link from Jungle Scout and then you look at the competition and you go, oh, there's another one that didn't meet all the criteria. Oh, this one's got too much competition. Oh, this one, it's brand driven. You're going to burn out before you've built a list. So it's really important that you build this list of 50 opportunities before you start comparing competition. But I don't have time to do that, and you don't have time on this video. So for the sake of this video, let's just pretend that we have that list of 50, and this was one of them. Okay, so now we know what our top level category is, but we want to always set this to all departments, and we're going to type in camping cookware cooking set. That's a good keyword. You can, by the way, I forgot to mention that when you start typing in your keyword here, I recommend actually typing it, because you'll get ideas from Amazon. They will tell you what people search for, and you can see, is this really a good keyword for that product? And like camping cookware is very generic. It could be a stove, it could be a spatula, it could be whatever. But a camping cooking set really does communicate what this product is. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So we want to use that keyword that most accurately describes the product that we are actually researching, and I like doing that by typing in here and having Amazon tell you. All right, so here we have it. We're just going to assume that we're just going to do the Jungle Scout method, because I don't want to go through and click on listings all day. That's why I paid for this, because I don't want to waste my time doing it the hard way. Again, we're going to search this by top revenue, going down the other way. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is look for brands, and I want to see, is this a brand-driven category? It doesn't look like it. I mean, you've got Coleman, of course, they're a big brand, and there's a couple other ones I see here, but nothing that's like Coleman, 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 right? So this 17-piece kit, it looks pretty good. It matches our criteria. Let's go ahead and copy that one. Let's make sure it's not the same one that we were looking at here. No, this one's a different color. So for URL number 2, I will paste it. If I can remember how to paste. Sorry, I blanked out for a second. BSR number 2, let's go back to here, was 868 and 121 reviews. Okay, 868 and 121. Okay, let's do one more. So we do a full search. We'll just go down to the next one on the list, and that one might be the same one that we are looking at. Let's see, BizGear and BizGear. That is the same one. So let's look at the next one down. Okay, let's look at that one. This one's a little cheaper, and this one's by a different brand name, Malomi. So we'll copy that link address. We will pop it into URL number 3, and let's look at the BSR. For that one is 1204 with a lot of reviews though, 2833. So that's a 1244. Did I get that right? Where's my BSR? 1204. Okay, close enough. And 2833. So that is the only black mark on this. Is actually a pretty good product opportunity so far. Except that one of these guys has a lot of reviews. There's actually 2 of them that have over 1,000 reviews, and they both are doing a lot of sales, but this guy's actually doing more sales. These 2 guys are doing more sales with a lot less reviews. So what that tells me is there's still room. There's still room in this category. So now watch, everyone that watches this video is going to go try to sell camping cookware kits. I will stay the hell away from this one. Have fun with that, guys. No, but this is just an example of one that might be a good idea. So for the sake of this video, it's a pretty good idea. Okay, good. And we've already decided that hand grips is really not, so let's just delete that for now. So let's say we've narrowed it down. We've got a few of our products that we like, and we've got all the links here, and I might go in here and clean this up. How I clean up the link is where it says DP, that stands for detail page, and I'll delete everything from after the .com to DP. So it just says .com/DP/the ASIN, and then I delete everything after that. Okay, and if you don't believe me, you can copy that, and you can go back here and you can pop this in. That's called a short link. Amazon.com/DP detail page /the ASIN. okay? So I like to keep it nice and tidy in here, just makes it easier for me. Okay, so we've got our opportunities. Now we've got this profit margin section. So let's say we've got our 3 to 5 really hot ticket items that we're really excited about. Your heart's pumping, you're excited. Now what you're going to do is go on to the next video, series of videos in this training that talk about how to actually source those products and how to contact suppliers and stuff like that. And you're going to start worrying about profit margin later once you start hearing from suppliers. So you're going to get samples, you're going to find out what the costs are. And basically a very simple formula for profit margin, guys, you'll probably want to write this down, is the total sale price. So let's use this as an example, $27. If you are selling FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon, you can assume that Amazon's going to take about 1/3 of your sale. So $27 is the realistic retail price, and go ahead and just take 1/3 of that away. So if I just multiply that by 0.666, that'll tell me what I have left after Amazon has taken their 1/3. So sale price times 0.67, really, it's 2/3, basically $17.98. So that is your, after Amazon fees, pretty good calculation, average, mean average of what you can expect to get paid. Now after you get paid $17.98, let's round it up to 18 bucks. Then what's going to happen is you have to pay for your cost of goods sold. I would assume that's going to be another 1/3. So if you took that $27 divided by 3, $9 is probably going to be about your cost of goods sold plus shipping. So here is the simplest way to figure this out. You can estimate that you're probably going to keep about 1/3 of this number, so about 9 bucks. So if you took $9 and divided it by 27, that is 33%. So I'm going to assume that this has about a 33% profit margin. Again, take 1/3 of the sale price, which is $9, divide it, meaning the smaller number, divide it by the bigger number, so 9 divided by 27 equals 0.33, which is 33%. So that tells me that, and these are made up numbers, by the way, okay? If I'm going to make 33% profit margin, that's pretty good. Remember, our minimum number is 25%. I want to hit 30% or higher, but minimum 25%. The higher priced items that you sell, you can get away with a slightly lower profit margin, because at the end of the day, you want profit dollars, not profit margins. So I would take 25% on a $75 product over 30% on a $10 product. Duh, right? Because I want cash coming into my bank account. So you're going to figure out this after you get the cost of goods sold and packaging and shipping from your suppliers. Then you do that math that I just showed you. You pop in the percentage here, and then you're going to, after you do that on all your product opportunities, after you've whittled down all the crap that we just showed you, and you have like 3 to 5 to 10 to 15, however, you can build a whole list of 15, 20 hot product opportunities if you want. You can go to town on this. I would suggest that you keep an open mind and look at multiple categories and build a really good product opportunities list, so that when you start contacting suppliers, you are not fixated on, I have to sell this silicone spatula. It's the only thing that I've figured out that I could sell on Amazon. And you get into that scarcity mindset, and I tell you, your creativity shuts down, your energy shuts down. Think bigger. Build a big list, narrow it down to your top 5 minimum. If you can go bigger than 5, you have the time, great. Then jump into the contacting suppliers, figure out your profit margin, and go to town. I hope you found this helpful. I just started doing this method recently. We used to do the old method of going through Amazon, and it took so long. So I really recommend using Jungle Scout, the full this full website, as well as the Chrome extension, just as I showed you. You don't have to. You can use any tool you want, but again, that's what we do. Thanks for watching, guys, and have fun.